and activities in agriculture, mining, farming, industries, gardening, etc. were all on the same scale as they are now, even previous to the present creation and the same millions of years. One creation is started by the practically in the same way. The mundane wranglers waste time with archaeological excavations without searching into the vital necessities of life. Even though a mere child did not waste time for a single moment with economic development, although he passed through towns and villages, mines and industries, he continually went on to progressive spiritual emancipation. Srimad Bhagavatam is the repetition of history which happened some hundreds of millions of years ago. As it is said herein, only the most important factors of history are picked up to be recorded in this transcendental literature. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasini Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Spitan Janapadam Statra Pura Grama Vrajakaran Keta Karvata Vartishcha Vanani Upavanani Cha. After my departure, I passed through many flourishing metropolises, towns, villages, animal farms, mines, agricultural lands, valleys, flower gardens, nursery gardens, and natural forests. Narad Muni left his home after his mother was bitten by a serpent. He had already got some taste of spiritual life. After he left, he's explaining here what he saw. So here, if you look at the Sanskrit, it says the modern version of history. Karvata. It's not now. This is a previous day of Brahma. Previous millennium. We have, it's a very long time ago basically. So even that time, here look, we are saying metropolises, Pura towns and metropolises, Janapadan, places where people were living. Time is cyclical. Again people will make a mistake, and then when the jivas taking birth, as time goes on, they're more sinful, then they'll orient the civilization to sense gratification. And what about, we understand that from Satya Yuga, in the beginning, they were all Paramahamsas. Gradually, they became degraded. At the end of Satya Yuga, 1/3 of vice crept in. Then end of Treta Yuga, half. End of Dwapar Yuga, 3/4 of the world. And now we started at this 3/4, and gradually everyone will become sinful. So sinful that Supreme Personality of Godhead, who says, Dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami, I come to establish principles. He'll not come and establish any principle when he comes next, because the people will be too sinful. He'll kill them as Kalki Avatar. In a Asuric civilization, it's oriented in a material way, not spiritual. So like currently, in this current civilization, so much of man's energy, attention is going in nonsensical things, like manufacturing tires and cars. We think we are smart because we built these phones and computers and everything and cars. But actually, people were smarter because they didn't do it. They know what is the harm. One example I can give is that when I went for college, I'd gone in the West. At that time, they were removing engineering from all the universities. I don't know why. It was around 1999, they removed engineering from our college and most colleges in Britain. I'm understanding that they found out that engineering, IT, all this is harmful for population, for health, for people. So now they're just outsourcing it. for these other countries like here. So, but they're not saying. In those countries, they're just focusing on services now, not products, manufacturing, pollution, factories, plastics, just services. And they send it to China to manufacture whatever they want. So we may think we are smart, but actually what happened is that we set up a civilization where so much time and energy goes in things which are nonsensical. They are not going to contribute to us. And if you think they're contributing, actually they do maybe, but they're doing more harm. We know, we heard these arguments many times. This is not a civilization in the truest sense of the term. Civilized. What is that? Sabhyata. The actual civilization is termed as the Aryan civilization. In Bhagavad Gita, when Arjuna was expressing doubt whether he should fight, then Krishna told them, Anarya Jushtham. This is not what an Aryan would do. They had to do their duty. And then Prabhupada in the Prabhupada explains, Aryan civilization is one based on simply varnashram basically. That people do their varna and ashram duties according to their psychophysical nature and their guna. That's what civilization is. People should be engaged in that work, but they're not now. So that word is being misused. Now it is, people are naradama, nara, lowest of mankind. 4 kinds of people who don't surrender to Krishna. One of them is naradhama. What is naradhama?
Lowest of mankind.
What does it mean? Actually, it's mentioned in the purport.
Nara means man.
No, actually I'll tell you. Naradhama, Prabhupada explains it as one who's not in varnashram. He says, not like that. He says, one who is not doing his duties according his given duties. God-given duties. One who doesn't do that, they are the lowest. They're not doing their duty. It's considered uncivilized not to do your duty in ashram and varna. It's considered uncivilized. So, but we're using the word civilization now for this. So that's not civilization. So now we may think, okay, we built all these things, cities and all that, and it's amazing, you know. But here Narad Muni is saying, no, I passed through flourishing metropolises, towns, villages, mines, they were mining, agricultural lands, valleys, flower gardens, nursery gardens. But now one thing is very important here. This here in the purport, it says, even though he was a child, Narad Muni did not waste time for a single moment with economic development, although he passed through towns, villages, mines and industries. He didn't waste time in economic development. Why are we saying wasting time? Because everything is allotted. Upanishad say, what is that verse that says everything is allotted to everyone? Yeah, correct. īśasya vidam sarvam yat kinchit jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjita ma kena kasya siddha ma grita kasya siddha. Everything has been allotted. Everything belongs to God. īśasya vidam sarvam. But everything has been allotted for each person. The water, the food, everything has been allotted. Why you want to do now economic development and develop that? Why you want to do that? You want to eat more? You can't. You want to have more cars. What will you do? Drive 2 cars at once. Everything has been allotted. I knew one Maharaj, he came to our center in Malawi. He was bathing and he used 1 bucket of water. I said, you want another bucket? No. He used 3/4 of the bucket, then rinsed the gamsha with a few mugs, dried. Then the remaining water he dipped gamsha and everything else, finished 1 bucket. He'll do that every day. He said, we've been allotted limited resources, don't take more. So that is a whole other view of looking. I mean, it should be like that. If we use more, we are hoarding resources, someone will not get it. Even money, someone becomes rich, it means someone doesn't have money. You took someone's money. So economic development is demonic. It will ruin the society. Narad Muni, even though he was a child, it says that he didn't waste time. Sometimes you're going with a child, you see, they'll see a park, I want to play in the park. I want to do that. I want to go and play video games, whatever. Kids. But it says Narad Muni, he didn't do that. Even though he was a child, he didn't waste time. And even economic development, he didn't say, okay, now here's a mine, let me now establish a company, extract the metal, and make some money, accumulate the money, open a mining business. These things are time wasting and energy sapping for human beings. Things have to be kept to a minimum. But people won't understand that, because before they were there in these situations. People were in situations where everything was simple and everything. But they gradually, that as tamogun and rajagun increased, that means same families, people were taking birth. But as, why do we say vice comes from Satya, Treta, Dwapar and Kali? What is happening is that the population are getting lower and lower. Why? Everyone has to come and take birth here. But the Satya Yuga, a certain environment is there for certain jivas. Now Kali Yuga, we are the worst, taking birth. And so in this situation, people are taking birth, they're not thinking about God. So when they were born in that simple thing, simple environment, but the population was changing more and more, then they started searching for sense gratification and increasing whatever they have. And that's the cause of their depression and sadness. Trying to increase, seeking, it says in 11th canto Bhagavatam, the most miserable person is that him who is searching after sense gratification. Most miserable. One who is not, it's whatever comes, it's peaceful. But for that, we have to have some level of realization, isn't it? How can we forego material sense gratification? Not zero. Prabhupada keeps saying, as much as required. He said it's like salt. You can't get too much. You shouldn't put too much, but not too little. It's sense gratification. So, one who doesn't have realization about this world, this body, he'll start seeking after that. He won't understand. When the guna increased and people were not able to understand Brahmagyan, spiritual knowledge, then they started chasing after this tuchha sukha, material sense gratification, not understanding about spiritual knowledge, Brahma. Greatest happiness is Brahma Saukyam to Anantam, unlimited spiritual happiness is the greatest. But due to ignorance, they don't know that. They're searching after something else. So Narad Muni had gyan, he had knowledge. He was able to just cross the things, not get diverted by them. It's important to get realization, to get knowledge in this world. Previously, people seek knowledge, gyan. They walked all over the world, all over India, seeking gyan. We know about Gaur Govind Maharaj. He was born in a family of transcendentalists, generation after generation in Orissa. And at some stage of his life, he said, I need a guru. He left home, started walking around seeking, then he came to Vrindavan, then he saw a poster of Prabhupada, he said, this is my guru. So anyway, the point here is, he was seeking. For that he left home, he was seeking. One has to seek knowledge, one has to come to gyan. And before, people get so many things. They inquired from sages, they're thinking, okay, let me give up everything and go to the forest, I'll get gyan. Or let me speak with this sage, or let me serve these devotees, I'll get gyan. Actually, if you read fourth chapter of Bhagavad Gita, this is how you get gyan. There are different ways. It says that some of them, unadulterated brahmacharis, they sacrificed objects of the senses. So, everyone did different things to get gyan, knowledge. Gyan means realization of the temporality of this material world and material body. If we know that, then we're able to endeavor. If not, then they'll pull us, they'll keep pulling us. So the seeking after that gyan is what, people would travel to other lands also. And many people came to India for that. But now Indians are going out of India. So many people came here seeking that knowledge. Brahmagyan. through Brahmagyan, what happens? I get realization, so I'm not in avidya. When I get realization, I can see it, everything for what it is. I can have proper vision. Tattva darshana. I can see the truth. Then I'm not enamored. Otherwise, people become enamored by this material creation. They become so enamored that they'll commit sinful activities. Rishabdev says that in verse, that those who see sense gratification as aim of life, Indriya Pityat aparnoti. How did it start? Yat Indriya Pita aparnoti. Nayam deho deha vajane loke kashtan kamanari. A person, no, that's not the one. Anyway, a person who is seeking after sense gratification, he will commit all sinful activities to get it. Nunam pramata kurute. Yeah, that's correct. Nunam pramata kurute vikarma yat Indriya prita parnoti. Na sadhu manye yata atmanyanam asanapi asada klesha deha. Nunam pramata kurute vikarma. These people who pramata means mad, got mad, that they are thinking that sense gratification is the aim. So nunam pramata kurute vikarma, then they will do sinful activities which are not recommended. Why? To seek that sense gratification. So one will become sinful. You may say, I'm not sinful now, but there are some sense gratification desires. But we can become sinful then. It can. It's a danger. So people understood this, and accordingly they arranged society and their lives and everything to guard against it. For example, now what people term as such strict rules for women and men in society, or women, whatever it is, so strict, so heavy culture before, because they could see, we cannot see, that the greatest enemy of the jiva is kama. What is that? Kama rupa durasadam. The greatest enemy of the jiva, it says in Bhagavad Gita, is the desire for sense gratification. They could see that. So accordingly, what is the greatest? That is material sense gratification, the attraction between man and woman. So that was minimized and properly controlled. People out of ignorance don't know that now, so they're just living their life, it's like a dog or cat. Kama karataha, according to their desire. It is it's very dangerous. That's why Kali Yuga has been described as one is age of deterioration. Prabhupada, Prabhupadisms, Prabhupada coined words in English. Age of deterioration, the phrase. Because in this age, everything deteriorates. And in Bhagavatam, I recall reading, one sage was speaking to another. Now that time is approaching which erodes all good qualities of mankind. What are good qualities? Truth, austerity, tolerance, religiosity, patience. I even read shyness somewhere for me. So good qualities become eroded in Kali Yuga. The whole atmosphere is vitiated by tamogun, rajogun, and so we get affected. It's a very dangerous age we have taken birth in. And more so now, as dharma goes, there is no guide, people don't understand that I have to seek knowledge and come out of this. They're not able to understand it. So then it's a spiral, they'll get worse and worse and worse. Particularly in this age, why did it say that yajñai sankirtane praya yajanti hi sumedasha? People who are intelligent, not Krishna, Narad Muni says, that those who are intelligent, they will take to this movement of Sankirtan. Intelligence means that they are seeing what is the situation, this is my body, my mental state, this is the world I'm in, this is my lifespan, I better just chant Hare Krishna. This is intelligent. But those who didn't see will start some long big plan for developing economically or doing PhD or something. Where is the time? We are not getting time. We are not getting time even to wash cloth. We're not getting time. Where are they getting the time to do all these things? And they didn't realize. We have to realize, actually, that's also a privilege of God. When we somehow come into a movement and we are told that, see, this is what you have to do, and we got it. It's we are so fortunate. So we have to make others fortunate, no? Narad Muni is saying that he didn't waste time searching for vital necessities of life. They're already there. Just make do with what you have. Actually, we all have a karmic level. Just accept it. We have some level of some mental state. We have some level of money. We are born in this situation. Certain money, certain skills, certain mental state. So just accept it and continue. Trying now, okay, no, I'll try change my money situation, or even excessive health and searching and all this thing. Excessive, little we have to do. It takes our time. It's something that drains energy. We need a lot of time. Krishna consciousness is not easy. Some people take many lives. In this one life, one has to properly orient themselves. And how will you do that? By realization, by knowledge, jnana. How? We have to read these texts and realize this is the situation I'm in. I have to overcome. This is the situation. So for that, one has to be, the priority is come to this realization, to come on this realization. Narad Muni was fortunate, he met these personalities. And for someone who is able to get mercy or devotee like this, they become so grateful. And for example, a guru. Through Sri Guru, one gets gyan. So we are indebted life after life, practically speaking. We are indebted because he's given something which no one can give. What else? Who's going to give this knowledge? You'll not get in school. And Janma koti sukriti na labhyate. You can do good things, feeding people, opening hospital, but you will not get bhakti. That doesn't give bhakti. It's something very difficult to get. Labda sudu labamidam bahu sambhavanti. We got human birth and we came across this. So now what did Narad Muni endeavor for? It says that he continually went on to progressive spiritual emancipation. Spiritual emancipation means something like liberation or coming free from a confined state. That's called emancipation. So Narad Muni instead went for spiritual emancipation. This is what he endeavored for. So an Aryan civilization is one where this is focused. But we are in a problem because this movement has started, but it started in this material civilization. How are you going to bring spiritual ideals? We have to pull out of this civilization. That's the only way. Pull out means people like renunciates, they can live in the civilization and not depend on it and live. Yeah. But if you're dependent on your livelihood and interaction with the human society, then better set up another society. The culture is important. There has to be a culture of knowledge and Bhagavat principles. Because day to day we have to change our consciousness. Consciousness is affected by daily things we see and hear, and people. So to change that, we have to maximize our time with people who are following these principles, or with is reading and hearing of these principles. And for that, you have to come out of the society. And this was Srila Prabhupada's plan, that people come out and endeavor for spiritual life in a proper environment. So in this way, the culture is important. Mahaprabhu, he says, when Ramananda Rai said that the highest duty of the human being, the best benefit is if he does varnashram, then Mahaprabhu said, Eho Bahya, that's external. So some say he rejected varnashram. He was living varnashram. He took sannyas, he was following principles, chanting Sandhya-vandana, even observing principles which Brahmins will observe, that only taking food in the house of a Brahmin. And we read that when he went to houses of non-Brahmins, then they'll bring Jagannath Prasad. He will take them. So to establish such a civilization of progressive spiritual emancipation, the first thing is, of course, one has to understand the spiritual knowledge. Understanding that. So that's what we are doing. We are not going and telling people to follow an ashram now. Instead, we are telling them about the soul and spiritual knowledge. Okay, when they understand that, higher knowledge comes. Then they'll understand one ashram. This is good, it's valuable. But now, why are people dead against it, even violently? Because they have a different aim. Their aim is to enjoy, and definitely one ashram is a big obstacle to sense gratification. Definitely. This whole feminist movement, Prabhupada says, feminism is propagated by lusty men, not women. So they'll not want varnashram, that women are not available. They're protected in the houses. They're not coming out to work and everything. They'll not want that. So more people are into sense gratification, they'll not like. They'll not want it. But if you make someone first Krishna conscious, they understand what is Gita, what is the soul, what is it, then, oh, such a valuable thing, varnashram. Because in this way, I know this is my guna, I can serve Krishna, swakarmana abhyarchya, siddhim vindati manavaha. By doing their swakarma, karma, according to their nature, one can get perfection, Krishna says. So there's a good opportunity. In this civilization, we're not being forced to go to college, forced to go to the army, forced to make a living. Just whatever is your nature, you do that. Now in that kind of life, then you practice Krishna consciousness. Then it's much, we're not so disturbed. So better situation. What one is, and if someone is engaged according to their propensity, not only they'll benefit, the whole society will benefit. People go against even varnashram because it's stratified. It's Aryan civilization. Why? The people heading the civilization have supposed to be very intellectually oriented, predisposed to study and discuss philosophy, and they will know then what is Shastra, they can guide the society. Whole society will benefit, not only them. But the danger is people think that anyone who gets power exploits it. Yes, they will, but the point is, that's why we spread Krishna consciousness and varnashram. People should become devotees. Now in this state, someone is a devotee, then he gets a power. Then, of course, material world is not perfect. Sometimes there are always accidents, but it's the best situation for the material world, the best situation. Also Kshatriya. So, okay, you're given the power of ruling to a Kshatriya. And everyone is told, now you must respect them. Why should I respect them? People won't necessarily respect prime ministers or, in Western country. India, there's a tradition of that, respecting seniors. But in the West, respecting seniors, culture is not so much there. There's people called anarchists. There are quite a few of them. You have monarchists, and you have anarchy. Anarchy means that there should be no senior, higher authorities. Everyone should just live as they want. So they have a certain symbol. Whenever there's a demonstration, they'll come and break everything and create confusion and they want to bring down the government, basically. Anarchists. So people can't understand and they'll not accept. But the thing is that if the Kshatriya is qualified, he knows how to rule, he's a good fighter, the whole kingdom will benefit. He'll protect them, he'll be able to manage, keep the rogues checked. So varnashram benefits everyone. Everyone will benefit. Vaishyas, some people are born businessmen. They don't have to go to IIT or VIT. They're born businessmen. Just put them in a shop and they'll hire all the IIT people. They'll make the money. Make them make the money. Don't send them now to school and army. And definitely don't put them in the as head of state. They'll accumulate money. They'll not rule. So this is Aryan civilization, oriented towards progressive spiritual emancipation. Srimad Bhagavatam contains all the knowledge and teachings required to change civilization from this to that. The principles have to be spread in knowledge, in other books, small books, lectures, set distribution. Knowledge has to be spread because it contains Bhagavad principles in Varnashram also. Where does it come? Detailed explanation of Varnashram. Yeah. It's in the 7th canto. Details are given there. So now that is what was followed by Narad Muni. He followed these principles. He went through all this material, where material activities are taking place, and he said he didn't waste his time. He understood what is the aim. He didn't want to get into that. Immediately get into what is the need of the hour. So for us, we require to get this knowledge. We need to study and hear so much to come to this level where we can, understand futility of material life, seeking material sense gratification. And that was a very valuable thing. As I said before, people seeked after. We need to seek after it. In this way, we can be in the same mood as Narad Muni. Hare Krishna. Any question?
So here we are talking about people in general imbibing the mode of seeking spiritual knowledge.
Yeah.
For that to happen, then there should, now as we preach pure devotional service, and generally the people, even in Vedic culture, they are highly materialistic. So then, how do you see this preaching connected to the society in a way that such a crowd comes where, like in Vedic culture, how it was, where some small group of people who would actually be serious about this knowledge would actually take it. Because when people see this, it's make or break. Either you become a devotee or it's like you are just a karmi and demon.
Yeah.
So how do you see this connecting to people in such a way that such a society in general comes about?
Yeah, so it's true, not everyone will become a devotee. Or the stalwart preachers will not think like that. We'll preach and we want to make everyone Krishna conscious. But then some people, they'll not become. So what has to happen is you make the leaders or the main people, a certain number of people, then you make then introduce varnashram, and these people are into karmis basically. But within their karmic activity there is seeds of jnana, therefore there will be advancement. While practicing there, normally you want to enjoy, you want to have big family, a lot of transport, farm, whatever. So now they're enjoined that okay, you become Vaishya, maybe have a farm, produce grain, now give donation to those who are not working, the renunciates. Okay, at the same time, you have to do this yajna, observe this festival, and in this way, they have that karmic tendency, but it's now karma yoga connected to this yajna. What we are trying to do. They'll not maybe become a full devotee, but they'll be engaged in activities which will elevate them. But not only that, it will create such a civilization which is oriented for spiritual advancement for everyone. Yeah.
You mentioned first we make Krishna conscious and then we introduce Varnashram.
Yeah.
Varnashrama is a means. By following Varnashram, you can become Krishna conscious.
It puts you in sattva-gun. Prabhupada said when he was about to leave in Vrindavan, he was speaking there. He said that it puts you in sattva-gun, gradually put your mind in a state where you can practice.
So by following Varnashram, you will become Krishna conscious.
No. It will bring you to sattva, it will reduce rajagun and tamagun significantly.
It makes it.
Yeah, and it will give you sukriti. You see, like Vaishyas are meant to give their grains to the temples and to the renunciate, and they'll get so much sukriti for advancement. Other classes are taught to respect Vaishnavas and Brahmanas. They'll advance in that way. They got the society set up, people can advance.
The question is, you said we make them Krishna conscious, then we will introduce this one.
Yeah, now, but you can't make every single person Krishna conscious. We want to introduce it in the whole world. But leaders of society and people who matter, at least some percentage. We just don't come and preach Varnashram, but you make somewhat devotee understand this is the thing, this is the aim. Yeah, now let's do it by doing this. So important people in society, and as Prabhupada said, this ISKCON movement is meant for the intelligent class of people. This is in this book, Mood and Vision. It's not for everyone. It's for the intelligent class. They are guiding the society. Change them and you change it. But you cannot just come and tell them, we have to stratify society. Immediately, oh, Hitler, this and this. They get afraid. So you explain, no, listen, goal of life. This is guna, this is sattva-guna, raja-guna. So now, we have to change the society according to this. So, not everyone, but this intelligent class. When we come and speak, we should have spoken already about something about goal of life and this.
So intelligent people, they will take up Krishna consciousness and they will guide others who are not ready to become Krishna.
Not only guide, they'll do it by force. You see, there are certain countries, I won't mention, but people like to follow countries. They're not so, whatever that other countries do, they'll follow that. From America, everyone will follow America. What is the fashion, what is the music, it's not that you have to teach them, but they'll follow what the leaders do, they'll follow. And even common people, supposing certain film stars, politicians start doing things, all the followers will follow it. Then you don't have to go to everyone in this way. But another thing is true, you can prepare grassroots, change them, then they elect a Krishna conscious government also. We're doing both. But the point is, that Prabhupada said even 1%, it's enough. Whole world will change. Because there, certain number of people are running the world. I heard one person say, he went to UK, he looked at the people, he said, how did these people rule the world? I can't understand. Even there, Indians are dominating business and they're not able to. But then he realized, no, within that country there's a 1% smart people. They're running that country, they were running the world. It's not everyone. So that you have to get these people. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.